On today's show, Brad Pitt recently did a GQ shoot where he shared his dreams. I discuss his dreams, and to be fair, because I'm discussing somebody else's dreams, kind of without their say so, I also discuss one of mine. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Stay tuned, find out what his dreams mean. Welcome to the Dream Interpretation Podcast. I'm Michael Sheridan. This is another half hour of us eavesdropping on the very personal communication between the spirit world and heroes on their journey, because that's what dreamers are. And that's why I focus on dreams. If you want to know what you're meant to be doing right now on this planet at this very moment in time, then look no further than your dreams, because they have it all. Through analyzing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the superpowers you have, what makes you magnificent, what your spiritual gifts are, and a whole lot more. And also the bumps in life that are holding you back. But these bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analyzed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com/podcast, fill in the form and submit your dream, and then just sit back and wait for me to analyze your dream or contact you with questions about it. Hey, listen to this. Here's an email I received. It says, "Thank you, Michael, for spending your valuable time talking with me for free. You've given me more guidance in half an hour about what to do with my life than I've ever been given. I'm blown away. Really appreciate all you do, and thank you to your guides for their help too." And that's from Nicola. And why did she send me that? Because she sent a dream into the show, and I did it a couple of weeks ago, and we met up. I met 3 people last week, all individually, and I tell them about their dreams. They sometimes bring new dreams that they haven't sent into the show, and we discuss that. And that's one of the great things you get if you send a dream into the show and it gets picked. You'll get to have a conversation with me about that dream or any other dream you want, and I will do my best to help you understand what your life is about and what that dream is trying to get you to do. And if you like free stuff, and a lot of people do, I have a few things coming up. The first is tomorrow. I am doing first Tuesday free dream clinic. Now, this is a new thing, and the link to that is simple. It's dream-analysis.com/clinic, and it's at noon Pacific time on the first Tuesday of every month. I'm going to do that for a little while, see if it's a worthwhile thing to keep doing. So please show up if you want to go to that. That's the link. The links will always be under the podcast, wherever you listen to this, as long as I have access to edit there. But if you're on my email list, you will also get that information sent to you directly with the links, and you just click on it and join. There's no fixed agenda in the free clinic. I'm just there to answer your questions and to tell you what your dreams mean and the next steps that those dreams are asking you to do. What else have I got? Well, I've got an event in October. That's a bit away. You'll hear more details about that later on. But the link for that is dream-analysis.com/free. And that's a 3-day free event. You're going to walk away knowing so much about your dreams and how to use them to figure out what your life is about and what's holding you back and what you need to do about it. But I've got something before that too. On Thursday week, I'm going to be hosting an interactive event with Ann Tucker on her Wisdom Soup channel that's all about how to find the ideal partner by first finding yourself. And I'm going to go through a whole series of dreams that tell you, for instance, how do you know when you have the right partner, when your partner wants to be with you? How do you know from their dreams? How do you know if your dreams are telling you you need to leave your partner? And why do we end up with who we end up with? All those things, and lots of dreams around it. How do I improve my current relationship by looking at my dreams? Why does my ex show up in my dreams? All that sort of stuff going to be covered in detail. And here's a dream I took from my book. This is an example of what I'll be covering. John dreamt that Van Morrison was sitting on the floor holding a pint of Guinness in his hand and arguing with his wife. That's the dream. What is this one about? Well, obviously he's a channel because of Van Morrison, but that's not really what it's about, because this dream is part of the event where I'm going to be talking about relationships. And so Van Morrison in the dream is arguing with his wife. but he's sitting on the floor. So this says that John and his wife are in a conflict at this moment in time. And that John is holding a black and white attitude when it comes to this conflict. Like he feels like he's in the right, she's in the wrong, whatever it is. And we know that because Guinness is black and white, and he's holding the Guinness in his hand. Of course, it's Van Morrison in the dream, but you're everybody in the dream. So this means that he is holding on to this black and white attitude that isn't helping in the conflict. What else do we know? He's sitting on the floor while he's holding this Guinness and watching and arguing with the wife. So that means that when he was a child, he witnessed that this is the way relationships are, and this is the way conflict in relationships are. So his parents obviously dealt with conflict this way in childhood, and that is what's holding him back in his relationship today. And that's how dreams help. They show you where your issue comes from, childhood, what you witnessed, mom and dad and their relationship, and that causes you to emulate it. That's what we do, is what we do. And knowing this, of course, immediately you know, okay, if a dream is telling me I'm looking at this in a black and white way, then I know I'm closed off. I'm not listening to my partner, and I'm probably wrong. So it's like the highest authority there is, your higher self, is saying, you've got to open up. You can't hold on to this attitude. It's childish. It's childish, is said in the dream by the fact that you're sitting on the floor, or Van Morrison was sitting on the floor. But okay, so that type of dream and lots of other dreams I'm going to explain in this event with Ann Tucker. Like I said, it's the 11th, Thursday the 11th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And I don't have a link for it right now, but if you get on my list, I will send you the link before the event. And if I do get it, I will put it under this podcast later. So lots and lots of free stuff all the time that we do. Yes, we do paid stuff. We do sell courses. We do help you through many different things that we do that cost money. And those paid things, of course, also cover the cost to us of doing this free stuff. But there's lots of free stuff. We're always doing free stuff. And I don't always mention it on the radio show, but I do mention it on my email list. So if you want to get on that list, go to dream-analysis.com and subscribe by downloading my free dictionary. And that will get you on the list. And I will send you details about anything that we're running as it comes up, and like right at the line of it too. So, okay. What else has happened? Well, quite an eventful weekend for me. I passed my black belt test. Thank you. And yes, it was grueling. My God, there was lots of conditioning in that. Lots of conditioning. And then during the test, they tear us down for about 2.5 hours, just working us. And then you get attacked 64 different ways, and you have to defend yourself. And then there's grappling, and then there's sparring. And then in the sparring, of course, I got kicked in the ribs. And that hurt, and still hurts. But I was telling my granddaughter later on, she's 6, and I couldn't pick her up because my ribs hurt. And she said, aren't you meant to block that, Granddad? So she's very clever. But I was not so clever. I didn't bring my contact lenses with me. So during the sparring, I couldn't see what I was doing. So, but that was it. I'm going to say that's what it was. And it wasn't the black belt that was attacking me that caused me problems. Anyway, just kidding. It was great. I'm absolutely delighted. It's been a lifelong ambition of mine to get this belt. So I said in the intro that I would share one of my dreams. Brad Pitt did a GQ photo shoot and a discussion with, what was the woman's name? Ottessa Moshfegh. And lots of people wrote to me and said, hey, you should cover Brad Pitt's dreams on the show because he shares his dreams in this article. And I don't know, I have a reluctance to do that. I mean, he did put the dreams out publicly, so it is inviting analysis. And I am going to do it, but to make it fair, I'm going to interpret one of my own dreams first. Because people don't really know what their dreams are about. And that's okay, because they don't study it. But he does give his own interpretation of the dream, and I love his approach. So I really like that. I'm going to have a link to that article, that GQ article, under this show as well. Very good article. I'm a big fan of Brad Pitt's. I really like a lot of the movies he's in. Everything except World War Z, I think is probably what it is. And I'm really looking forward to Bullet Train coming out, which I think is imminent now. But yeah, I'm going to So I'm going to cover this. I'm going to do it. But like I said, lots of people wrote. I don't know how many, but it was so many people. And at least now it's been a while, so I won't be stealing any thunder by saying what his dreams are actually about. So here is my dream. I was walking through a market, kind of following a female celebrity. She was faceless in the sense that I didn't know who she was. Others were following her too. And we got to one area and she disappeared momentarily. She was going to go into this one store, let's say. And it was kind of looked oldish kind of setting to it. And I walked on to another place where we knew she would be going to go to, and I stopped outside. But another follower walked right in past me and closed the curtain. And then he popped his head back out and said, asked me if I was going to eat. And apparently eating there gave him access to be inside, but only one person got to eat. So only one person got to be inside that particular way. And I was standing outside in the dream thinking to myself, wow, is it that easy? Then I was thinking in the dream about the fact that I was Bono's nephew and that the people inside would probably know me via Bono. Now, I'm not Bono's nephew. That's just a dream thing. But that was the dream. Now, I had read the GQ article finally just yesterday. And I had this dream last night. And so I read the article and analyzed the dream. I mean, it's a very straightforward dream. You know, it doesn't really take much analysis. But I'd analyzed the dream and it was on my mind. And I was wondering if I would use it today. And I had decided I wouldn't. So then I had this dream, which changed my mind. So anyway, in this dream, I'm Bono's nephew. But the reality is Bono has worked with my cousin. So there is a connection to him. My cousin Jim Sheridan is a famous film director. He's directed Daniel Day-Lewis in The Name of the Father and My Left Foot and lots of other movies. And so I have been in the same room as Bono and other celebrities like Daniel Day-Lewis because of him. And it is interesting how people act when they're around celebrities. It's very strange. There's certain places where if I'm in the green room in a TV studio and there's other celebrities there, including ones that I absolutely adore and would fan all over, it's absolutely okay to talk to them and there's no like apologies needed or anything like that. And it's a very normal kind of place to meet famous people and have ordinary conversations. But when you meet them out on the street or out somewhere else, people really don't know how to react. Should I keep my distance? Should I be respectful? Etc., etc., etc. So it is kind of funny. And I guess I have a bit of that because you can see it in this dream. But the main thing is that the dream shows is this person walks in to eat. So basically saying, look, are you going to take a bite out of this? That's what you have to do. You've got to do something that allows you get close to the celebrity, and eating the meal is the perfect analysis of it. And you know, it's something that I had thought, this is episode 284 probably of this show. We've been doing it for 8 years. I thought maybe, you know, it might take till halfway through the first year of our show to where I'm interviewing Oprah or something like that. Of course, it never happened. So there is elements of that in it, wanting to get there, wanting to get recognized because of the dream work itself. I really want to change the map of how people look at dreams because there is so much craziness out there about dreams. Anybody can write anything, and they do. It's a lot of it is nuts. There's a lot of good stuff too, but how would you as a consumer know what's good and what's not good without really studying all of the different aspects and trying it out for yourself? So even like if I say to you, look, this is definitely how dreams work, why should you believe me? How do you know that what I'm saying is true or not? Now, the people that work with me, I put my neck on the block and I say what their dreams mean. And I do that in group situations, like in the dream clinic tomorrow. I will be telling people what their dreams mean in front of lots of other people who also have a mic because we're doing it on Zoom. It's interactive. And if I'm wrong, somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong. You know, and I don't have a fear of that. Have I ever been wrong with a dream? Absolutely. Of course I have. But I'm willing to listen and learn and grow and get better at doing it. I've been doing it for 31 years, so I've gotten really good at it. And I've learned a lot about dreams. by analyzing the dream and then getting the context of a dreamer's life and seeing how that context fits in with what they're dreaming. Anyway, I've kind of digressed. This dream basically is showing me keeping a distance. I'm my own problem from causing me to keep a distance from celebrity, let's say. So after this dream, I decided, well, I'm definitely going to do the dream of Brad Pitt on the show. Have you ever wondered how to unlock the wisdom of your higher self so that you can figure out your life purpose, why you're here, what you're meant to be doing, and what's keeping you off track? If so, then we have an exciting live event coming up this fall. Join us for a 3-day intensive live virtual event from October 7th to 9th, where we will show you how to answer some critical questions like, how do I identify my unique spiritual gifts? And how do symbols show the solution to what is holding me back? And then what do I do next once I realize what my gifts are or what my obstacles are? We'll also show you how to avoid incurring karma by doing the wrong things. Sign up today at dream-analysis.com/free to secure your free spot at this event. The first 100 to register will get a free copy of the color version of my book worth $35. You can't get this version on Amazon. We reserve it for course participants because supplies are limited. But now you can get it for free. So sign up today before seats run out. Again, the link is dream-analysis.com/free. Sign up today and we'll see you there. From Ottessa, she said, for a long while, Brad's sleep had been haunted by a particular persistent and violent dream, the particulars of which he later describes in an email exchange. And here's the dream from Brad. For a solid 4 or 5 years there, the most predominant dream I would experience would be getting jumped and stabbed. It would always be at night, in the dark, and I would be walking down a sidewalk, in a park or along a boardwalk, and as I'd pass under an exorcist-like street lamp, someone would jump out of the abyss and stab me in the ribs. Or I'd notice I was being followed, and then another flanked me and I realized I was trapped. And they meant me grave harm. Or being chased through a house with a kid I'd help escape, but got pinned in on the deck and stabbed. Always stabbed. And I would awaken terror. I didn't understand why it or they would want to hurt me. And this stopped a year or two ago, only when I started going straight back into the dream and simply asking why. Now, I love his technique there. That's exactly what you're meant to do. Figure out why you're having the dream. And once you know why you're having the dream, it's going to stop. So I often help people prevent nightmares by telling them what the nightmare means. And once you know what it means and do something about it, sometimes you don't even have to do anything about it. But once you do something about it, then the dream is going to stop because your higher self's not going to send you that message anymore. Now, your higher self, to be fair, does not send you nightmares. That's not the game. But it's sending you a message that you don't like and you turn it into a nightmare. That's basically what it is. And so when you react to the actual meaning of the dream, then it's all good. No longer need to get that message. So I do like this part though. Ottessa said, one might be tempted to psychoanalyze a dream like that. And then she does it. Brad Pitt, the golden boy from Missouri who moved to California on a lark at 22 and became the biggest movie star in the world, who reportedly makes up to 20 million in film, and she goes on, cannot go anywhere without being stalked by the paparazzi. It's easy to see how this man might feel hunted and haunted. What's perhaps surprising is how the bad dream eventually went away. Okay, so that's what she's saying. It's about him being hunted and haunted. It's not that. It's a very normal dream. A lot of people have this type of dream. And there's two things I would immediately wonder about this dream. First of all, is it about where he's living? Is there entities or spirits around him who are malevolent? And, you might wonder that temporarily, but then you realize, hang on, those spirits rarely ever stab you in a dream. That is just not their thing. They're usually just scary, they're very threatening and so on. But there usually isn't physical contact with those characters in your dreams, just the threat of violence. So that would kind of rule that out. But that was in my mind. And then in the article, he talks about the property that he lives in, and he purchased it from Cassandra Peterson, who is best known for playing Elvira, the Mistress of the Dark, in The Munsters. Isn't that what she was in? So campy horror host Elvira, he says. And she told stories of the house being haunted when she lived there, claiming that she once heard the sound of footsteps coming from an uninhabited third floor, and then she saw the ghost of a nurse and of a man in period clothing sitting near the fireplace. She also claimed that Mark Hamill said that he lived there until his roommate hanged himself in a bedroom closet. So that kind of fits. But when you look at those things, there's nothing dark about their experiences. Somebody who hangs themselves is not going to show up in your dreams, even if they're still present in that place, trying to hurt you. They will be looking for help. So it wouldn't fit at all. But it's definitely the right type of question to ask. So what else does he say? Brad considers that he is in the last trimester of his life, and mining his dreams for what meaning they might contain is part of the process of how he finds what that last trimester is going to be, how he's going to design it. So I really like that. That's exactly what you should be doing with your dreams. So let's have a look at the dream. We'll give it a proper analysis now. He says the most predominant dream, so it's a mishmash. It's obviously better if you get a single dream and you can say, here's what it is, here's what it's about, all the detail, all the specifics. But when we get a mishmash like this, we can only be a little bit general. So he said, I would experience getting jumped and stabbed. And so the first question I would always have then is, where did the person come from? Did they come from behind? And we see that in his series of dreams, they're always coming from behind. He said it would always be at night in the dark, and I would be walking down a sidewalk in a park or along a boardwalk, and I'd pass under an exorcist-like street lamp. Someone would jump out of the abyss and stab me in the ribs. Well, what's an exorcist-style street lamp? I do not know, but a street lamp is always positive in a dream, because it's about shedding light on something. So this dream is attempting to be positive. It's like, this is something that we want you to know about, and we're shedding light on it now. And this then being jumped is really what the dream is trying to tell him about. So let's have a look at the next bit and we'll explain more then. He says, all right, notice I was being followed. So there we go, the being followed, it's behind me. So this is an issue from the past, and it's usually always childhood, because as adults, things don't get us as much as adults, unless it's a replay of something as a child. So it's nearly always childhood, because we don't have the ability to rationalize and reason and figure out, wait, this person has a problem. And of course, we're much more vulnerable as children. So our issues come from then, typically. So he says, I was being followed, and then another flanked me, and I realized I was trapped, and they meant me grave harm. So this feeling of being trapped is going to come from childhood. Something came up that has that particular feeling, the feeling that you have in the dream, that fear feeling. He says, or being chased through a house with a kid. So here we go. I said it's usually childhood. So what age is this kid? And in this dream, he'd helped this child escape. So this is what you're dealing with yourself at that age. So it's Brad Pitt at that age. That's what he's got to deal with. Go back to that age. Something happened at that age that is causing these dreams. Now he's already solved it to a degree, so we don't need to worry about it. But that's what it's about. And he says, and I got pinned on the deck and stabbed. Always stabbed. So stabs, knives and daggers are all about anger. Like we could refer to somebody who's always angry. You could say, oh, she's very cutting, or he's very cutting, or he'd cut you to pieces. And we know what that means. It's not that the person's going to literally cut you, but we know that they're going to assault you in an angry way. And it's as if you're being cut up. So that's what they mean in the dream. So he's had to deal with anger in the past, or couldn't deal with that anger in the past. Because if you're a child, we're very smart as children. We know when it's wise or not wise most of the time to speak up for ourselves, or to just endure what we're experiencing and try to get through it. And that's really what most kids do, try to survive. Most children are killed by their parents. That's just a statistic. So we have built into us the ability to recognize when things have gone too far, or somebody's acting a bit crazy. So he says, I would always awake in terror. I didn't understand why. So I love what he did, but here's his interpretation. So I've given you mine, and it's about anger from the past that needs to be dealt with. And that's why the street light is like, this is what you need to bring into the light. This fear from the past of having to be in this place of anger, deal with this anger. Who's stabbing you? Is it men? Is it always men? Then it's going to be about issues on dad's side, or a male's side, usually always dad. The other thing that he says there a few times is on a boardwalk or he's on a deck. So there's wood involved. So this issue, this anger issue, caused him problems with his digestive system. The dream doesn't really go into any detail, doesn't really show a physical problem. So it's not anything big. And often when I point these ones out to people, they go, well, I don't have a problem. And I go, okay, well, do you watch what you eat? And they say, yes. And I say, why? And they say, because I used to. And it's like, okay. So you still have the problem, but you're able to control it through diet. And that's the way most of us are. And why wouldn't you do that? That's exactly what you're going to do. But your dreams will remind you that you still have the issue that caused the problem. And so you can deal with that issue and then help heal your system and be able to eat lots more foods than you currently do eat. But again, nothing big. There's no physical damage in the dream. I know he gets stabbed, but there's no physical damage to any structures in the dream. So there isn't really a physical problem that we have to worry about. So here's Brad's interpretation. He says, my interpretation of the stabbing dreams were on the surface about fears, feeling unsafe, completely alone. But beneath it all, they mostly seem to be about buried needs, those aspects of self that weren't allowed to bloom as a child, like healthy anger, individuality, or especially a voice. So there we go. He wasn't able to have his own voice as a child. He couldn't be angry in a healthy way, couldn't be individual. And not feeling safe. That's something I should have said when I was analyzing it. So dreams ultimately are all about masculine and feminine energy. And our masculine energy helps us feel safe in the world, helps us feel like if I was to take on anything I want to do, that the world has my back. And we get that sense when dad has my back. If my dad looks after me and says, Michael, whatever you do in life, I'm always going to be there for you and I'm going to protect you. That's going to create a safe feeling for me. I grow up feeling safe and I can take on the world. If I don't have that, or if dad disappears from my life for any reason, and I don't know Brad's history, then I'm going to have dreams where I don't feel safe. Because that masculine energy is missing. There's a void there. And then I go through life with that issue. So there we go. Really glad that he shared them in the article, because these dreams are very like other people's dreams that send dreams to the show. Very like your dreams. What I liked about the article was Brad's approach to all of this, through the dreams and through his life, and looking at what he was doing. For him, it's all about growth and discovering who he is. And he talks about how when he was younger, he didn't know what it meant, like what is your authentic self and so on. So it's really interesting to see him being interested in that and interested in his dreams and keeping a pen and paper by his bed to record his dreams all the time. Love it. Everybody should do it, including you. Well, that's my show for this week. I do hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next week. Take care.